Good morning.
Hello.
Welcome to Bars and Bells.
My name's Lauren.
And I'm Ian. And one of our members is excited to tell us that they have a kettlebell. And we too have our kettlebells out ready to train with these beginner body weight and kettlebell strength skills. So thank you to our members. We're here this morning. Let's start with the breath. Any requests, just use that chat or send us an email through the weekly link letters. Let's set up with our feet in that hinging position, just like we would for that deadlift or swing, and chop on those hip flexors, pressing the hips back. For this moment, just place those hands on top of the kneecaps and hang out in the hinge. First, let's breathe in and the belly will fall to the floor. Make room, nice and big belly, and on your exhale, pull that belly button into the spine. Repeat again, a big breath into the belly, and then an exhale, pulling the belly button to spine. We'll repeat that one last time, big breath in, and then exhale. Now push your feet in the floor, extend the hips, and stand up tall. Let's return to that hinge and maintain that same level of breathing if that's for you. And at the head neck, extend as to look forward, slightly up to the ceiling, and then pulling the crown away from those hips to flex the neck or round. Repeat again. Pull down on the neck as you lift up in that rule of opposites, and pull up on the neck as you reach down. Return the head to a neutral place, press the hips through, and then shake. We'll breathe again from the hinge. This time, keep the belly button to the spine and increase that pressure to support the abs to support the low back. Hinge, hands on knees, or maybe even a hand on a belly. Breathe in, big belly. Breathe out, belly to spine. Now maintain belly to spine and take a breath in. Exhale. Belly to spine, keep it there, keep it there. Plug the belly button with that cork. And again, a breath in. Exhale. Repeating for one more. The belly button is super tight to the spine here. Breath in. And on the exhale, come on up. And then shake it out. Let's return to the hinge for one last time. Chop on the hinge, on the hips, hands on the knees. And now, at the hips, we'll do our tuck and tilt, if you will, or the posterior scoop, which is bringing the front of the hips towards the belly button. We do want to avoid this shape when we swing or deadlift. And then we'll tip the tailbone away. Whew, maybe that woke up those hamstrings. Repeat for a couple more repetitions as we tuck under the tailbone, avoiding this shape in our swing, but useful to be able to do. And then the other tip away, or that anterior tip, is where we prefer for the swinging and deadlifting hips. From that position, press the feet into the floor and get ready for the punch.
Always ready.
And relax. We'll return to the floor here. Let's get those knees over toes. Hips stay over top the feet and press through to tall. Squeezies, braces. Let's continue to pull those feet along the floor, pressing knees over toes. And then can we find the balance points on the balls of feet, just like in the lunge. Then press heels down and then hips forward. And for one more, we'll go knees over toes. Transition to the balls of the feet. Sink lower, use your balance aid as you need. And then with grace, knees on the floor. Extend the hips. And Lauren will take it over. So some wrists, some lunges, and then that nice rotation as well.
Wrists. Let's hip hinge, pushing our hips back. Hands will find the floor through the fingertips first, and then connecting the rest of the fingers, callus line, palms and thummy. From here, let's gently shrug our shoulders up into our ears, and then pull them down like we're juicing that orange in the armpit or engaging our lat. Keeping those shoulders low, try to screw in so that your elbow pits or those blood donations start facing forward. And then just relax that for a second. Repack your shoulders by pulling them down. Rotate those elbow pits forward again. Now pull the floor towards you and you'll start drifting shoulders over top of fingertips. Then press the floor away and push yourself back. Let's do that again with elbows straight, shoulders packed. Pull the floor towards you, drifting shoulders over top of those fingers, and then press away so much you flick the floor away and shake that out. I'd like to reverse that. So extending your hands out front, fingers facing you, palms away. Fingertips land through the finger callus line. Palms come down. As you're here, if you bring your knees closer to your hands, you'll find that takes a little bit of a load off. If you're further away, that's going to be more of a stretch. Pack your shoulders, pulling them out of your ears. Let's keep our elbows straight and all 5 or 10 fingers pushing heavy into the floor as you sit back a little bit with straight arms. And then again, use those fingers to press yourself back. Let's try that same thing, but with slightly bent elbows. Sitting back, then with that bent elbow, this time we'll peel the palms away from the floor and flick, extending our hips through. Now we're going to come through to our kneeling lunge. So bringing one leg up in front, finding that nice lunge position. With your hands on your hips, let's do what we did in that hinge. So tilt our tail to the ceiling or arch your low back, and then gently tuck under by squeezing that back cheek and scooping the hips under. Repeat, tilt the tail to the ceiling, tuck the hips under. Do that one more time and try to avoid moving anything else in the body. Hip tilt, hip tuck. Now let's do it this way. Hike a hip, pull it down. Hike a hip, pull it down. One last time, a hike and a level. We should be level in all directions right now. Let's keep that levelness as we heel toe that open to the side. We've kept the hips where they were, so that slight tuck under and horizontal level. From here, drive down into the floor with that outside leg and start pulling, and you're going to start drifting knee towards over toe. Keep squeezing this back cheek. And then push into the floor and press away, growing yourself up tall, 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 tall. Repeat one more time. Push down and pull as you drift back over. And then press yourself through to tall. In this position, let's take the same arm as the side leg across the body. Head is going to rotate towards that leg, and then the upper body is going to follow, rotating. From there, chop your hip, hinging, hand finds the floor. Your shoulders are now stacked. Take your head and rotate it to look at your hand on the floor. And then shoulders are closed up, squaring up to the floor. Head is going to look away towards the ceiling. And then upper body is going to rotate back open. Press the floor away, extending the hips through. Whoops. Square up the head and the upper body. And then front foot doody-doo-doo. Pull that leg underneath. Same thing other side. Kneeling lunge. Hands on hips. We tilted the tail to the ceiling. And then scoop the hips under, squeezing the back cheek. Tilt the tail, tuck under. One last time, little tilt, little tuck. And then we'll hike it and pull it down. And hike it. And as I'm doing this hike and pull down, I'm trying to keep those shoulders level. Last one, a hike, a pull down. From here, our back cheek is still squeezed. We heel-toed open to the side. Then we push down into the floor and pulled, gently sliding knee towards over that toe and still square forward. Then push in the floor, pressing away, growing up tall, 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 tall. Repeat again. Pull the floor underneath you, drifting, and then gently press away all the way to tall. Taking that same arm as the side leg across your chest. Rotate your head over that, towards that knee. Then rotate the upper body. Chop the hips to hinge. Shoulders will be stacked. Now, head will lead the rotation, looking at the hand on the floor. Then shoulders will square up. Oh yeah, that feels nice. Then head will rotate back open. Shoulders will stack, pressing the floor away, extending the hips. Head returns to center. Shoulders return to center. Heely toe back through. Zip underneath. Nice.
We love those twists and rotations, but being able to be stiff in a straight line is also useful, specifically for presses and pulls and swings and all of those fun things outside in the garden or here in the workout. Let's look at Lauren as she cues our high plank. Forearms is appropriate, or from those hands like a push-up. No matter what, we'll look to have the head, the shoulders, and the hips in a nice straight line. You know what? I'm going to go for a little walk here, and oh, look at this lovely park bench. And then we'll come through, find you wherever you are, and making sure that you could withstand that load, but only for 10 seconds.
Yeah, I gotta take a break.
Only for 10 seconds here. Let's try to find nice high tension in our plank. If you are standing up, you can put your elbows on the counter. Find ways to make it safe and appropriate for you. On those hands, I'll be working from my knees first, setting up in our modified plank. Then pull those hands to knees and knees to hands. Squeeze your butt cheeks, brace your abdominals as if it could take a punch, and continue to find strategies to create tension. And then relax. Maybe tip your tailbone to the ceiling. Avoid that child's pose. If you need child's pose, you might be doing your plank wrong. Let us know. But again, either from your modified or from that high position, let's brace the core. Pull the feet and the hands together. You're squeezing your bum, you're bracing your core. Multitasking is so hard, so do everything one more time. That's a bum squeeze, core brace, pull the floor, and then relax with the knees down. Let's return to our backside and slowly piece together our get up with our body weight here.
Nice.
So we'll start in our cuddle. Check. The shoulders packed down, juice in that orange in the armpit. Then we'll roll to our back. From there, the two-hand press, we call this our firing range, and then set up in the get-up. The offhand, extended, belt line high. Press through the floor with the bent leg, pull on the ground. That's our elbow. Transition to the tall sit. Through the tall sit, we'll bridge to sweep, sliding up out of the windmill, and then squaring up the lunge. Core tension as we stand. Let's do the same thing in reverse here. The leg we can touch would drop back in the lunge. Then the leg in front opens to the side. We add that rotation we practiced just a moment ago. Then hinging on the hip, we find the floor with the hand. Sweep through. Tall sit to elbow. And now 5, 4, brace, brace, brace to the floor. All right, switch sides, switch voices. Take it over, Lauren.
Same thing, other side. Start in the cuddle always. Two-handed cuddle, two-handed roll, and press that imaginary bell. Taking that offhand and placing it on the floor. From here, the bent leg, same side as the kettlebell arm, is pushing into the floor, extending the hip, pulling on the elbow. Find your hand, keeping that bottom shoulder packed. We're gonna lift our hips off the floor, sweep the long leg underneath us. Press the floor away, extending. Squaring up that lunge, using both legs to up to tall. Should we go back down, Ian? Yes, yep. We should. Leg you can touch, drop back lunge. Front foot opens, rotate, hinge on the hips. From there, sweep the back leg through, find the elbow, and 5 seconds to find the floor. 3, 2, control down. Nice.
Nice is right. We have a couple more of those get-ups here today. Today's practice, we'll be doing our body weight get-ups, followed by some kettlebell holds. You could use that kettlebell in that lift as well, but take your time. Body weight is just fine as well. Let's return to that high planks position. That could be from your knees or it could be from your toes. And one last 10-second interval in this hard style plank. So again, we'll have the hands gripping the floor, the hips, head, and shoulders in a straight line. And now as we start the clock, 10. The butts are squeezing, the hands are pulling into the floor. Imagine rumpling, or whatever the right word is there, rippling the floorboards underneath of you. And then relax. With the knees down, let's tip the tailbone towards the ceiling. So it's that cow-esque pose from yoga. And then with bent knees, tip the tailbone yet again and press through the floor, lifting towards this A-frame shape or down dog. Then straighten the knees, but maintaining the tailbone in a cow shape or anterior tip. Then bend the knees. Retip that tailbone. Lengthen out the knees as allowed. You might walk in a little bit to make those arrangements just right for you. And then use the hands, Press back towards that hinging position, feet in the ground, hips through, and now we're up tall.
Nice.
Some single leg skills coming up. Grab that kettlebell off to the side, but first, those single legs.
All the single legs.
All the single legs.
All you need is yourself. Standing up tall with your feet in your hinge position. We'll chop our hips, pushing them back, keeping those shins vertical and our spine nice and long. From here, I want you to transition your weight onto a single leg. So you'll shift over a little bit. You'll extend that off leg long to the side. From there, draw a quarter circle with that leg all the way to the back, keeping the toe connected to the floor. Right here, lift your hip a little higher to get a more vertical shin. And then, as one unit, stand up, driving your hips through. Step. Repeat second side. Hip hinge first. Transition that weight, reaching long out the side. Stay connected to the floor as you reach out the back. Lift the hip a bit to verticalize the shin. Roll over the foot and grow tall. How many words have I made up in today's session?
I was thinking verticalize is probably closest to a real word in a while for us there.
Then transition, pushing that weight over. Point the leg long all the way out the back. Lift the hip a little bit. Roll over the foot, one unit connect. Last time, second side. Chip chop. Transition, loading up that hip and hamstring. Long out the back. Lift just a little, feel that more on hamstring. And then zip to tall. And shake it out.
And the shake.
Nice.
There we go. We'll return to the floor here through that get-up protocol. The arm could be overhead or across the chest. We'll work on that overhead mobility coming up shortly as well. Take a single hand on the leg you can touch and drop it back in a nice controlled lunge. Then the leg in the front opens to the side. You can rotate with the head and then those shoulders, and then rotate to find the floor. Sweep a leg through. Don't kick your kettlebell, that would hurt. And then find your elbow. And then nice and control to the back. Our first kettlebell hold today is called the firing range. We'll start in that cuddle position and ending up like the top of a bench press or with a weight over the chest. Ready to go?
Ready.
If I keep my counting somewhat right, we're looking for about 30 seconds of work here. Take a breath. We have a packed shoulder. Roll to your back. Two-hand press towards over the chest. From here, maintaining the shoulder blade packed. Does it jam into the floor? That might not feel so great. So do it with body weight first and learn how to stabilize through that shoulder blade. The hand is crushing, the elbow is straight, the shoulder is packed. The core braced, continuing to breathe. And for 5 more seconds, holding on, owning it to the very end. Place 2 hands on the bell, pull the kettlebell towards the hip, and then a little bit of that cuddle. And switch.
Switch.
Feet over the bell, not your head. That might hurt again. So we'll set up to do the same thing now on the other side. I grab that pinky side of my hand near a corner of the bell, make it feel just right in my hand and secure it with that top grip. I breathe, I can roll, yup, and we'll press. We have straight elbows, firm grips, and packed shoulder blades. The shoulder blade is sitting flush with the rib cage and also flush with the floor. Keep the elbow straight. Keep gripping, including that pinky finger. Brace, breathe, learn how to take time under this load to enhance your grip, core strength, and overall skills with this kettlebell. We'll hold for 5 more seconds, continuing the shoulder pack. The 2 hands go on. We'll pull the kettlebell to the hip, and then return it to the cuddle. Let's stand up again using the get up. I can't remember which side I used, honestly, so I think it was my left. I'll prepare that same side. Press off the hip, pull on the elbow, time to get up.
Time to get up.
From the elbow, we'll tall sit. From that tall sit, we'll bridge. In the bridge, we'll sweep. Sweeps, turns to windmills, favorite move. Windmill to the lunge. Hi-ya! We stand up and refine that single leg hinge. This is where I feel that single leg hinge when Lauren tells me to straighten my knee a little bit. The back of the body. Let's get it going again.
Load it up. All right, from 2 feet to start. Chip chop, pushing those hips back. Transition that weight to a single leg, trying to maintain that hinge position. Reach along out the side. Keep the connection as you reach to the back. Lift the hip a bit to verticalize. And then roll over, tall, tall. Second side, hip hinge. Transition that weight. Keep that connection as you reach and try to make the most perfect quarter circle. Lift the hip a little bit and then grow tall. Last one each side. Chop. Transition weight. Reach long. Point out the back. Hang out here for a second, trying to pull that knee in a little bit. And then 1 unit tall. Last time. Chop. Transition. Reach long. Right here, I kind of feel like that dippy bird. Lift the hip up a little bit, and then just like it stands up, all at once. And shake it out.
Yeah.
Nice. Low holds. Well, we have to do a get up first, and then we'll do our low holds.
All right.
Let's get down, and then back up. Pick an arm. Put it across your body. Take the leg you can touch. Step it back. Controlled descent. Front foot opens. Rotate, chop hinge, sweeping that leg through, find the elbow, and then press away from that elbow, keeping the leg heavy on the floor as you find your back. Let's get back up. Again, keep the leg heavy as you push and then pull. Find your hand. Bridge and sweep. Hand leaves the floor, hips extend, front foot moves, and up to tall. Nice. This time, we're going to carry our bell or hold our bell in a low position or a suitcase carry. What that means is you'll take your kettlebell. You'll stand right over top of it. Either handle is good. I have mine parallel with my feet, or the other way, no problem. Chop your hips, pushing them back into that hinge position. Grip with one hand. Make sure the other shoulder is square to the floor. Brace your core, pack your shoulder, lift the bell a little bit, and then lift it all. From here, pull the bell to one side of your body. Maybe adjust your stance. Think about where your shoulder is. Is the bell pulling it out, or is it retracted and supported with our lat and all the other muscles? Use this side core to keep yourself up tall. Try to keep the weight even in both feet versus drifting towards the bell, and hold for 5. Breathe. 3, 2, pull the bell to center. Step, both hips push back, staying square to the floor. Bell comes down, up without. Man, that's where the sweat starts.
That is the sweaty part.
Second side, hip hinge, grip, pack up shoulders or square up shoulders, preload, then lift it all. Hips extend, bring it to the side. Check in with that shoulder again. Check in with the core, squeeze the butts, keep the weight even. Remember to breathe underneath that shield this whole time for 5, 4, 3, 2, step, bring it to the front, hip hinge, and up without. Shaking it out.
We've been selling a lot of kettlebells lately, and when we tell people what exercises to do, we highly suggest the loaded carries. It builds the grip strength. It builds those connective tissues at the elbows and wrists and shoulders, while also saying hello to your bell in a friendly way. Yes, we'll swing. Yes, we'll clean. Maybe not today, but start with the carries. From here, let's do another get up down. We'll switch it. No, we're patterning our swing. That's right. So one of our favorite swing drills here is the shadow swing. Let's start with our kettlebell out front. And then let's get our tiptoes to touch it as well. From here, let's pivot on a heel and then pivot on that same foot, big toe side. Then the other leg is a pivot on the heel, then a pivot on the toe. You might rock up and down, find that natural foot stance for you, but that relationship in regards to the bell is about just right now. So chop on those hips, Press the hips back, and right now, just touch the top of the bell. From here, we'll pull an imaginary bell, so barehanded, pull the hands towards the groin. Now keep them tight to the hips as you stand up. Squeeze your buttocks exceptionally hard there, ready for the brace or the punch, arms out front. For this moment, protract or reach those shoulders forward and retract. Maintain the shoulders in retraction. From here, press down towards the hips, staying tall in your plank. When the arms get towards the hips, hinge, pressing the hips back, and then arms reach forward towards that kettlebell. Repeat. Hands pull to groin. We stand up tall, hands connect, and then they separate as we're in our tall plank. The shoulders are retracted, the hands come down. We time it so that the hinge is efficient and return the bell. Final time. Hands to groin. We stand up tight. The hands then float to the top. The shoulders are retracted. Lauren obviously has her planks going on here. And then the arms come down. Hips hinge back. And then hands to the floor. Barehanded up. And then wiggle and shake. Practice the kettlebell deadlift. Practice those timing drills to help keep the swing safe and strong. Get down, and then we'll get back up. I'm back to my left side here. So again, across the heart or towards overhead. Watch the kettlebells beside you, and the leg you can touch drops back in the lunge. The front leg can open. Look, rotate, hinge to the hand on the floor. Stack over top and then sweep through. Watch that kettlebell wherever it got to now, and then to the floor with control. Reverse those steps, so we'll extend the hip, pushing and pulling to the elbow. Next, we tall sit, the bridge, the sweep, navigating that kettlebell, and then the windmill through, squaring of the lunge, high tension to stand and pull. Nice.
Nice. From our low hold, we're gonna work on our rack position. So stand over top of your bell. This is where you will have the handle parallel with your feet. We're going to hip hinge, as usual. Grip with one hand, then cuddle with the other hand. Pack your shoulder, brace your core, zip up your coat, and punch through that bell to get into your rack position. Once you feel comfortable, remove that top hand. Check it out. Your forearm should be vertical. Your wrist nice and straight, not bent. Elbow in tight, juicing the orange under your armpit. Are your glutes squeezed in, your core brace? Hold for 5 more seconds, thinking one day I could press this bell. 3, 2, 2 hands, keep it tight on the way down. Park, up without. Same thing, other side. Use your hinge. Grip with the other hand, and then cuddle. Use your hips to bring that bell up. Once you're ready, remove the top hand. Adjust your hair. Keep your forearm vertical, in tight to the body. Squeeze and brace. I feel strong. Hold. 5, 3, 2, 2 hands. Tight on the down. Up without. Shaking it out. Da, da, da. Nice. Back to a kettlebell drill, or a swing drill, sorry.
You got it. That chop and pop. It helps get that timing drill going while also increasing that heart rate, even if you did it with your body weight. So, in your swing stance, chop those hips. And when we do, the hands go back. Then stand up, keeping the hands behind. And then when you're full stand, the hands come through. The combination is arms first, then hips, and then hips first, followed by arms.
Did that wrong.
Let's do about 10 in a row here, slowly, or getting faster, not slowly, I guess. So increasing the speed as we go. Chop, hinge, push through top. Chop, hinge, push through. Chop, and through. Chop, and through. This is rep number 5. We'll go 5 more. And I'm going to pretend to punch Lauren in the abs. And she's going to pretend to punch me in the abs. And you're going to punch yourself in the abs.
We're definitely at like 22.
22 of those. That's a lot of those. Implement those tension techniques, even in the bodyweight drills, because then it'll happen more automatically when you use a load. Now, Lauren, let's do that get up.
Last get up of the day. Whether that arm is overhead or across your body, the free arm, the leg you can touch. Drop back lunge, control that down. Front foot opens. Rotation, hip hinge. Stack those shoulders, then sweep the leg through. Find your elbow. Press away from your elbow to the back. Reset. Push into the floor, extend the hip, pull on the elbow. Find that hand. Pushing the feet and the hand into the floor, extend the hips, and sweep it through. Pressing the floor away. Front foot moves. Both legs up to tall. Whew. Shake that out. We have one more kettlebell hold.
Nice. The goblet hold. Lauren will be extending this task by trying to look through the handle. This kettlebell is too heavy for me to try that, and instead, I'm just trying to hold that in a nice strong goblet position. For this, the kettlebell handle will be perpendicular with the feet, or facing this way. 2 hands on the kettlebell, use the preload Lauren talked about, and then we'll pull that up, catching it in that goblet hold. Chop the hips. 2 hands on, firmly connect to the kettlebell. Preload, and then, pull to the goblet hold. Also holding for about 20 seconds. Lauren right now, again, is extending that task, looking through the window, making sure we avoid the excessive back bend on the low back. Breathe, brace, squeeze your buttocks, press your feet in the floor. Wear that load on your back. Yes, it's in the front, but recruit those back muscles to keep it nice and strong. Might we hold it there for 5 seconds? Always owning the finish, and then return to the floor. Barehanded up. Follow that with a little wiggle. We like to finish today's practice with swing breakdowns. We'll start with some of our favorite drills, slowly approaching that kettlebell swing with 2 hands. If you are not comfortable with that, please refer back to the chop and pop drill, the bodyweight swing drill, or as Lauren's demonstrating here, just nice efficient hip hinges or deadlifts. The first drill is called our hike pass. Lauren will do her little dance, set up in front of that kettlebell just right, and then place 2 hands on the bell. For this set again, making sure that she doesn't touch my hand as she hikes that kettlebell to the hips, returning it to the floor. Stay nice and low, pull that kettlebell to the groin. If you're going right now, do about 2 or 3 more as you keep up with Lauren, and then I'll do it as well. If you watch that, listen to Lauren as I demonstrate the same drill.
Setting up in your hip hinge position, placing your hands on the bell. Tip the bell onto the side body so it's a little bit tipped towards you. From there, pull the bell towards the zipper of your pants and then park it. Imagining there's a wall above you and you don't hit it. Keeping it tight, engaging those lats every time, and then placing the bell down with control and standing up without.
Some noise is incidental, but look to take off and return with efficiency, control, mostly marked by quiet time.
All right, next.
Next.
Stop swings.
Yes. The stop swing is one unique repetition. So it takes that shadow swing that we did and now add a kettlebell load to it. If you're watching, that's just fine. That is an amazing stop swing. We pull to the hips, explode through, and really work on that timing. You're in your plank for as long as you can. The hands come down and time your hinge. So we're hinging, not bending, hinging at the hips when the kettlebell is tight to the body.
Ian's turn. Standing behind your bell.
Tight.
Standing behind your bell with your hands on. You'll tip the bell just like you did last time, the hike pass. And then when that bell gets that hike pass position, hips drive the bell through. Feeling at the top of that swing a little bit of a float in the bell, but at the same time, your butt's are squeezed, your core is braced. And then you'll park the bell with control.
I was ready for that one.
Good.
Thank goodness for that Polish punch right there.
Good.
Those stop swings are often harder than consecutive swings. It takes a lot of energy to get fired up to bring it back down to a rest. Nice. I'm going to catch my breath.
We should do it one more time.
I'm going to catch my breath. We also said we'd practice that overhead groove. So let's return one arm to that rack's position, pretending one day that it could be a dumbbell or a kettlebell to press a load overhead. Pack that armpit down, core brace, butt squeeze. Relax the tension in the arm, but maintain the plank. Feet, hips, glutes. Then at the top here, elevate the shoulder or shrug. Stiffen the elbow from that armpit. Pull. Keep pulling straight arm, straight. And of course, it can't pull forever as a straight elbow, so then bend. Return to the rack. Shake it. Same thing other side. Reinforce that nice efficient groove overhead. Lauren, as we go up overhead, will try to get her elbow in line with her ear. If your arm's more out front, that's just fine. No pinches, no pains. Build a groove. From the position we're both showing, we'll shrug or elevate the shoulder blade. Then with a stiff elbow, pack, pull, keep going. And then bend that elbow, returning the arm to the rack, and then extend with a little bit of a reset and a shake. I agree. Let's do hike passes again. So setting up.
Stop swings?
Or stop swings, yep. Stop swings it is, Lauren says. So 5 repetitions, 1 unique repetition each time as we set up a stop swing. Watch first, or do it with Lauren, and then watch me after. The hike pass. Hopefully this set, more aware. You're not more tired, you're just more aware, and that is why it could be harder. Build awareness, build strength, and then we'll get to high repetitions later. Looking so good, the feet are rooted, and it was so quiet, hardly even seeing that it was getting done there.
5 stop swings. First, enter your hinge position. Each time you do that stop swing, making sure those hips come back to where they started. Oh, look at that. As you come through to that plank position, time your breath with that exhale now, so that you can keep that core brace at the top. Last one or so, we're swinging to about that chest level, arms extended in front. Shake it out.
Those are hard, those stop swings. Let's repeat that overhead groove one more time. Rack's position, low tension in the hand for now. Overhead, and again, overhead might be more out front than Lauren's gold standard with the elbow in line with the bicep and ear. From here, we'll elevate or shrug, then pack and pull with a stiff elbow. And when there's less room to do that, bend the elbow, pulling back to rack. Extend. Those stop swings are hard, holy.
Got you winded.
Same thing on the other side now. The rack position with low tension for now. Visualize your press. Again, it might be more out front like I'm showing, or overhead. And then from that underarm, reach forward or up as we elevate, and then retract, stiff elbow, and when it can't anymore, bend that elbow towards the ribs, then extend the arm, shake, and relax. Who did deadlifts? Raise your hands or write a chat. Who did the shadow swings? Who's with us for the hike pass and that stop swing? If you're feeling good, let's continue our practice here for, again, 2 sets of 5 repetitions where we'll try our consecutive swings, which is just like that chop and pop, except we have a load, so it's probably gonna be harder. Take your time, watch out if you're not sure. Lauren will demonstrate 5 amazing kettlebell swings. At the top of that plank or swing, you can see how she's in line with the door frame. In the hike position, you see how our hips are reaching through. Keep that in mind as we're tall, ramrod straight, and then hinged at the hips, pressing back.
Another hallmark of that hinge or swing is the hips staying higher than the knees. This is not a squat, it is a hinge. Keep those shins vertical. Drive that bell through each time. I go?
I go, you go. This will be our last set of swings here. Set up. Maybe we're just doing that hike pass again, or the deadlifts, chop and pops. Many options. Work to your strengths, improve on your weaknesses, and check in. Always check in.
Last set for Ian here on his swings as he sets up in that nice hinge position. Each time those hips go back and then they boom, right through. At the top, arms extended, shoulders retracted, abs braced, butt squeezed. And he's already done.
Sounds like there's a lot to think about, Lauren.
There's so much.
There is. And our technique has improved because it's been years and years and years of practice. And in the past year, repetitions and repetitions and repetitions of cueing. So thank you for being here, and let us know again how you're doing on your kettlebell adventure. Let's finish today's practice to the floor.
To the floor.
With some breath, some rotation, and yeah, let's take that kettlebell out of the way. Last time to the floor, no rules. I'm gonna choose my size to sit. That's knees over toes, then lift towards the balls of feet.
There is no rules.
There's no rules, no rules. But from here, let's end up on the elbow in that 90-90 position. Press the elbow that's connected to the floor away from the floor to engage your lats and obliques. Then that top hip, push it forward. Bottom hip, slurp or pull in. Then at the head neck, look towards the elbow on the ground. Rotate through the rib cage. Look towards the ceiling next with the head neck. And then press through the floor on the elbow, rotating through the ribs. Push the top hip forward, look down to the floor, rotate one last time. While down here, take a big breath in. And on a big exhale, look up. Finish with the chest. And then finish pushing through the floor, transitioning towards the straight arm. Nice and easy. We'll switch and repeat that same effort on the other side. Set up in the 90-90. The top hip again is pushed forward and doing everything to avoid that slump by pressing the floor away with the elbow connected to the floor. Then at the head neck, look towards the elbow. Rotate through the torso. Then look up to the ceiling. Rotate through the rib cage. And then check in that the top hip's pushing forward, elbows pressing away from the floor. For the last one, we'll look at the elbow on the ground and then rotate through the rib cage. While we're down here, we'll take that one last big breath in. And on an exhale, look up, follow with the chest, and then follow with the hand. And then make up the rules, sit cross-legged, split it up, stand up, check in. Thank you so much for being here live on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. with Bars and Bells. I'm Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And together, we'll stay strong. Together, we'll take care. And together, with you, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, next week, anytime live or in the archive. So thank you to our members. We sell kettlebells for those who are local. Biking them around Canada or the world might be a little bit more challenging.
And expensive.
But thank you so much for being here and sharing in our passions with the kettlebell, our body weight, and simple training techniques for strength and mobility. Thank you so much. I think I've said that 3 times now. So Lauren's gonna get up, rush me out of here. But thank you so much again. That's for have a good day.